Session 9, 2001. Session 9 is a 2001 American psychological horror film directed by Brad Anderson and written by Anderson and Stephen Jevenden. Don't watch alone, but watch it in the dark. I work at a video store, and when customers ask me what's a good horror movie that I will actually get to them, I don't suggest any of the Freddy or Jason movies. Those are for fans, and I don't consider them to be genuinely frightening. Session 9 is most definitely genuinely frightening. It takes place at a mental hospital that is legend where I live. So most people know what I'm talking about when I say Denver State Mental Hospital. It is one of the few psychologically effective movies that I have ever seen. A Tale of Two Sisters, 2003. A Tale of Two Sisters is a 2003 South Carolina drama film written and
There you go. Remember this? Your turn to feed Emma.
Entitled
got it.
John Walk by Young John, which has been adapted to
You need anything, Gordon, you let me know, okay? I'm here.
Released patient from a mental institution who returns home with her sister, only to face disturbing
When was the
events
hospital
between her
actually
stepmother
closed? Trying to get
and the
out,
ghost
right?
hunting
No,
her house,
not out, in.
all of which are connected
This
to
place
a
closed
dark
down,
past
and some of them, they come back. I found...
The film
Jesus,
opens to very
I'd rather sleep in the
positive
street
reviews
personally, but
from
then,
critics
you know...
and won Best Picture at the
We first in line? Nope. His bed was fast and low. But that's the way Greg's like.
grossing South Korean horror
I know what I'm doing, okay?
and the first South Korean picture to be screened in American theaters.
Dr. Thomas
An
Kirkbride.
English
Well,
language
that's a pretty simple
titled
layout, really.
The
You know,
Uninvited.
and slanting off to each side on these like giant crooked bat wings.
To mix the reviews
Historic register. You know, that's why I can't tear it down. I mean, I love to.
and drama, all
What the
at
fuck
their
is
best.
this?
A truly
Oh,
lovely
but I don't know.
story. If you have yet to see
Why
The
they'd give him
Tale
a
of Two
lobotomy?
Sisters,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
strongly
Hey, there's a
recommend the
fantastic
film.
morgue in the basement where they do
It
the
is a real
postmortems.
gem.
I'll fill the bill.
Worthy of anyone's collection.
Feed a fucking army in
CDs
Yeah, shop.
Hollywood's
No headstones,
destroy it.
just numbers.
I
You really
do
ought to
have
check
a
for foot
small
traffic.
criticism.
Well, yeah,
There
it's like a
is
library.
perhaps a
Now all these tales left.
I'm going to take you to the female wing now, Ward C. And become administrator. Okay, each wing is made up of 4 wards.
Accept a
Wards
straight
A, B,
copies
extreme
of
patients.
other people's
What do you mean
ideas
extreme?
for Western films for
Psychotic.
and so
Hey,
my
follow these
point
2 down and
is
take you to C, but
unlimited
I wouldn't advise walking on the...
I did not prevent me from giving it 10 out of 10. I believe most fans of these genre will derive huge pleasure
Cody?
from this film,
It's
which
me, man.
I, for one, hopes goes down.
Survival rations.
Yeah, duck and cover, my friend. Bend
These ducks are going to have to be wet stripped. You see this?
Imagination
That breaks.
to distort
We go...
and
Gordon,
frighten.
let me leave. Hold on.
I first saw this film 2 years ago.
Davis Town Hall.
And fell in love
Reclaiming
with
the dark past.
Yeah, worst kind. This is
Teenage
decaying,
sisters.
friable, full poly, couple of neg-air machines, decon shares, the whole bit.
Roughly, ballpark, what?
Their relationship
These rooms,
with the
dining,
stepmother
2 weeks.
is strained, to say the least.
2 weeks.
With the
2.
stepmother appearing
2
to
weeks.
increasingly become unstable in her battles with the
What's all this,
younger
Bill?
girls.
Ah, they punks.
The film, though,
What?
slants with
What is this?
Oriental-style ghost effects.
Hey, this is seclusion. That's what they call the patient's rooms back then.
Unsettling aspect to the
Art
story.
therapy, creative
that on first
expression.
viewing is not clear.
It's creepy, huh?
That is
Shades
all
of your
the more
childhood, huh?
triggering. The direction is
I don't know.
incredibly good, and the acting is stunning.
150 bodies buried there. It's like...
Gentlemen, I'm sorry.
Phil,
I left the bag.
Gum?
No thanks, man.
You know,
The
we
large
just so
cow
happened to want
axe.
to see Elizabeth.
Oh, yes.
You a picture? I'll show you. Yeah. Listen, I'll match Yankees bid. On Monday, we'll be out the following Monday.
Clearly shows
They said 2
why
weeks.
Korean
1 week.
cinema
I'm good for it. You know I'm good for it.
is possibly the best, most original in the world at the moment. You simply don't get anything like this in the Western world. Sadly, and really, I can see it being influential on filmmakers around the world in the next decade. Highly recommended. A real joy and scare. Shadows of Vampire 2000. Shadows of the Vampire is a 2000 fiction horror film directed by Elwes. The film is a fictionalized documentary account of the making of the classic vampire film Nosferatu.
Kid.
Here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you to go down to the tunnel, hang up those...
Drawings directed
What?
by
Fred, right?
Murnau.
Keep it up, dickhead.
Began to have disturbing
Don't shoot.
Keep it up.
Yeah, I got it up. That's the problem.
The film was
So, dude,
nominated for the
How long you been working with my Uncle Gordon?
Well, man, I'm the slave driver.
Got a couple rules, though.
What the hell is that?
film was nominated for
So Mikey Gordon's nephew.
best
Mikey didn't tell you about these?
Just jiggle spooge dust into the air. Gets into the air, it gets into your lip. Or play something else.
Dafoe is
Yanni, John Tesh or something.
Who's Yanni?
especially powerful scenes including his describing his reaction to read
It's the perfect gig. Next time someone says what we do is crazy, just say, yeah. Well.
and a confrontation.
You didn't tell him?
Murnau,
You tell him.
of the film. When Murnau
Gotta finish by the 13th.
forced to recognize the
Our asses
work he
off.
has done
So what is it, 10 G's each?
to the experience
Travel.
to have
I know
seen
she
the
likes
sound
to
Hank.
travel.
film first.
Hey, guys.
By the way,
There's a number on the place.
worth viewing in
You know, it's hard to
3D.
believe there used to be
I love
over
this
24. You know, the budget cuts. Feds called it deinstitutionalization.
The loonies are outside in the
This
real
has not
world, and
been
here we are with the
definable
keys to the
of
loony
movie
bin, boy.
Patricia Willard scandal, 1984.
Anyone who
Patricia
is
Willard?
deeply interested in
That sort of thing.
suspense,
Typical
filmmaking,
adolescent crap.
Vampires,
These
German expressionism,
hidden
or
memories
simply in being
of traumatic
entertained,
events.
she make
Her
it
father
a
raped
point
her.
to see this challenging,
Came
evocative,
into her room at night,
thought-provoking,
wearing a
funny
black
film.
black robes on.
Viewers are
They
free
take
to
them
see
off,
how
and group orgies with his heart out,
the film
a stone dagger.
with the premise
She drank the
of
blood of
Nosferatu.
the aborted fetuses.
Enough.
It was
Un-
imaginative and extremely compelling.
Destroyed a lot of families. Patricia was ready to sue hers.
As
Well, her
always,
parents
is
discovered
brilliant.
a physical examination she'd undergone about a year countersues. They win.
Willem Dafoe's stretch was. The man is amazing. I'm taking my friend.
Dad was a lawyer. He was on the case.
Oh, come on, Mike, don't be so humble. His dad's a stated...
Hank, drop it.
What were you on there again, Mike? The one you...
For this movie.
Tough weekend, boss?
I love
I pulled almost lost him.
Your thing?
Listen,
Gordy,
This is leading. But believe me, Jeff is young, okay? But he's not a shit.
About the bonus, he would leave Yankee and work for us in a second. Now, what I'm trying to do is eliminate an obstacle.
Jesus, man, we're talking about...
But his best is.
Now let's finish the decon chamber.
This movie is about the director of the great movie
Nose down! Wait, don't look at me! Look!
The Vampire.
What are you, a bug, man? Yeah.
Fuck you, dude. Just wait.
Because, as we all know, the real Max wasn't a vampire.
Okay.
See, the first time I heard the story,
I got Nick
that
Dafoe.
they were gonna make
Okay.
Max real vampire.
I'll go check the breaker box. You-
I was on the floor for 10 minutes. Then I watched the movie, and every time he acted like a vampire, I lost it. I recommend these to everyone. Session 9, 2001. Session 9 is a 2001 American psychological horror film directed by Brad Anderson and written by Anderson and Stephen Jevenden. Don't watch alone, but watch it in the dark. I work at a video store, and when customers ask me what's a good horror movie, then I would actually get to them. I don't suggest any of the Freddy or Jason movies. Those are the fans, and I don't consider them to be
You okay?
Okay, but listen, I don't want anyone hanging out in this place after dark, okay?
No problem.
definitely
See you in the morning.
genuinely frightening. It takes place at a mental hospital that is imaginary. So most people know what I'm talking about when I say Denver State Mental Hospital. It is one of the few psychological
I know.
It takes the audience on a ride through a building.
Mary,
That's really great.
yes. Can you tell me what happened that night and get better, okay?
Why things are happening.
Mary. Mary.
You want a movie
confused. Find the doll from her mommy, and we can't find it in the Philly.
I always tell my
Princess,
to watch this
tell me.
Got a pretty China doll, and Peter Daddy went to sleep.
distraction during the movie.
Then
Questions about
Who
it.
played upstairs, Princess? Has Billy told you what happened next?
Billy only
Everything about this
Was
movie
Simon there
impressed
that
me.
night?
The script was
Simon.
inventive. The direction style is
I'm
without
tired.
overblown. The acting top notch. Even the shot on videos, cinematography looked great, with the exception of one or two exterior shots that had a hint of video look to it. Almost everything else was filmic and artistic. I also appreciate the movie that can generate real tensions and suspense from imagination and suggestion, rather than relying on lame and lazy tricks that populate most horror movies. It's something as limp as urban
Good morning, sir. Very good. Make sure she stays that way.
First-rate film.
So what's up with Phil and Hank?
To anyone who appreciates
Especially don't want to get on Phil's bad side. He'll give you all the grunt work, all right?
the creepiest horror film in years. Section 9 is the creepiest horror film I've seen in years. Brad Anderson has made a movie that is subtle and features actors playing every day. People who not only act and talk like real people, which means none of the usual horror atrocities of going off in the dark alone, etc. But also aren't killed off one by one according to their feelings in the credits. The tension builds slowly without a cheap shot scenes in sight until it is almost unbearable.
Hang out.
Towards the end, the plot runs off of steam and the twists are a bit anticlimactic. However, everything is so well crafted and executed in this picture.
Gordo?
From the writing,
Turn tomorrow, Hank. Where's Mike?
The equipment room? Look for the...
Right here, Bubba. I'm coming. Now let's see, Hanky's scratch tickets.
May come in.
and anyone with
Yeah, be there in a minute. Mary.
hello there.
Altered States.
Billy,
1980.
where does...
He's always talking, sir.
Altered States.
And where do you live, Billy?
American science fiction
Because
film.
I see everything.
Ken Russell's based
Hey,
on
what's mortified pride says he...
You get this.
On just some boxes, man. It's fucking intense, some of the shit they just...
Go cozy. Due to disappointed expectations, Henry, they're talking about you.
Simple.
If you are a
You kill someone.
or grew up
For insanity. He's not in jail. He's in the nut house, right, Mike?
the universe could just go on
Mike?
forever.
How did you feel?
Jeff, come on, man. Jeff, don't do that. Don't hurt him. It's all
Why
right.
this film was made.
The ice pick method,
Why
frontal
this
lobe.
film was made the way it was.
A few simple, smooth, up. Total time elapsed 2 minutes. Only side effect?
What feels approaching is startling.
Brilliant.
More like abstract
Very good.
expressionism
Yeah.
than anything
I gotta get up.
Get this.
especially by Blair Browns and William Hurt.
The same thing.
Raw
So, I don't know, just push it in that midsection.
to finish, this film is fascinating, original and consistently realized.
You know what a whale is?
Yeah, I know what...
He deals out at Foxwoods. 12 hours, and this whale has the house. You know what they're for?
I have
What?
serious late fees on my
What's your point?
because I just didn't want to make this movie.
Gee, the stress.
It is stunning that a film with special fitting
Incubates
was
in your
made in
lungs.
1988.
Tissue begins
But
to
that
grow
was
around.
why I kept
You're
watching.
drowning in your own lung fluid.
I tend to
Hey, where's
be
your mask?
critical of most
Me?
sci-fi movies on technical ground.
You think Mikey reads all those books for fun? No, man. Finish law school, pass the bar, get the big juicy cases.
Some points goes
Jesus.
off the deep,
Phil's got his stress reducer. He's got...
but like the best X-Files
Hey.
episodes,
Do you know if he didn't get this gig, he was over there, it is here.
by how well it
Imagine that
justifies
stress.
its
Jesus, Gordo is the Zen master of calm.
science
I never
fiction
acts,
the way
you know.
it should be.
I worry.
This utterly tripped-out movie
Hank,
is what
you and Amy
science
have a kid. We'll see how hard it is.
There are no spaceships and no improbable aliens. Instead, this is a film about a journey within the mind and beyond it. It follows scientific experiment with mind-altering drugs in sensory deprivation tanks with disturbing consequences. The film is conceptually brilliant, though obviously I am unable to delve too deeply without spoiling the film. Kurt's performance is fantastic. However, what makes this film really stand out is that it is visually stunning to a level
Let's do this thing.
it has very rarely been equaled, let alone bettered. The directions of the trip scenes is absolutely unbelievable, terrifying and wondrous, and superbly edited. The use of sound, color, and bizarre imagery, combined with the weight of concepts, make this film a real treat to watch. Not recommended for the faint-hearted or disinterested popcorn viewers. Altered States is frighteningly intense, but requires an inquisitive and open-minded viewing to fully appreciate its meaning, which are the real heart of the film. Altered States, 1980. Altered States, 1980. Directed by Russian, based on the novel of the same name, by playwright and screenwriter physically handled. A Tale of Two Sisters, 2003. A Tale of Two Sisters is a 2003 South Korean psychological horror drama film written and directed by Kim Lee-woon.
So what's the verdict?
The film is inspired by a Joseon Dynasty era folktale entitled Janghwa Hongryun Jeon, which has been adapted to film several times. The plot focuses on a recent released patient from a mental institution who returns home with her sister, only to face disturbing events between her stepmother and the ghost haunting her house, all of which are connected to a dark past in the family history. The film opened to very positive reviews from critics and won Best Picture at the 2004 Fantasporto Films Festival.
Are you questioning my performance?
It is the highest grossing South Korean horror film and the first South Korean picture to be screened in American theaters. An English-language remake titled The Uninvited was released in 2009 to mixed reviews. Psychological thriller, horror, and drama, all at their best. I truly love this film. If you have yet to see A Tale of Two Sisters, I strongly recommend locating a copy. It is a real gem, worthy of anyone's collection. See these masterpieces before Hollywood destroy it. If I do have a small criticism, there is perhaps a detectable influence in certain scenes from the Japanese versions of The Ring. We have, however, accepted straight copies of other people's ideas for Western films for years, and so my point is a limited one, which did not prevent me from giving it 10 out of 10. I believe most fans of this genre will derive huge pleasure from this film, which I, for one, hopes goes down as a classic. Dark and authentic film of the world of the imagination's ability to distort and frighten. I first saw this film 2 years ago in the cinema and fell in love with these dark tales of two brooding teenage sisters copying at home in their large country house with their father and stepmother. Their relationship with their stepmother is strained, to say the least, with the stepmother appearing to be increasingly become unstable in her battles with the younger girls. The film, though, slams with Oriental-style ghost effects and horror, which adds a strange and unsettling aspect to the story that on first viewing is not clear, but is all the more intriguing. The direction is incredibly good, and the acting is stunning. with the stepmother in particular incredibly good swinging from one mood style to another in the film. The large house adds airiness, and there are enough points in the film where you will jump out of your seat. This film, to me, clearly shows why Korean cinema is possibly the best, most original in the world at the moment. You simply don't get anything like this in the Western world. Sadly, and really, I can see it being influential on filmmakers around the world in the next decade. Highly recommended. A real joy and scare.
Well, come on.
Shadows of the Vampire, 2000.
The other day.
Shadows of the Vampire is a 2000 meta-fiction horror film directed by Elwes, written by Stephen Cobb, and starring John Malkovich and Willem Dafoe. The film is a fictionalized documentary account of the making of the classic vampire film Nosferatu. A symphony des Grauens, directed by F.W. Murnau, during which the film crew began to have disturbing suspicions about their lead actor. The film was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Makeup, losing to How the Grinch Stole Christmas. For his performance, Dafoe was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Richly nuanced exploration of silenced film classic. Dafoe is definitely an Oscar nominee with his performance, especially powerful scenes including his describing his reaction to reading the novel Dracula by Bram Stoker,
Guess I wasn't the only one.
and a confrontation with Murnau near the end of the film, when Murnau finally is forced to recognize what he has done. It adds to the experience to have seen the silence film first. By the way, it is well worth viewing in any case. I love this film. 2 thumbs up.
Jesus
Blew me away.
What?
This has not to be the pinnacle of movie-making genius. Anyone even remotely interested in suspense, filmmaking, vampires, German expressionism, or simply in being entertained should make it a point to see this challenging, evocative, thought-provoking, and funny film. Reviewers I've read seems outraged at the liberties the film took with the premise of Nosferatu. I thought it was an imaginative and extremely compelling take. John Malkovich, as always, is brilliant. But nothing prepared me for how scintillating Willem Dafoe's stretch was. The man is amazing. I'm taking my friend to see it this weekend. Dafoe does best performance ever. First, I say 10 out of 10, definitely for this movie. I love it, especially the end. LOL. Dafoe gives his best performance in this as Max Scratch. It is also his strangest performance, but that's what it is meant to be. John also gives an A+ performance, but his best is being John Malkovich. This movie is about the director of the great movie Nosferatu, casting what is actually a vampire in the silent film. It's plainly comedy.
What do you want, Jeff?
Because, as we all know, the real Max wasn't a vampire.
You know what? Go back to work. We'll bring you your lunch. Get out of here.
That they were gonna make a Max real vamp in this. I was on the floor for 10 minutes.
I'm telling you, he's up here.
Then I watched the movie, and every time he acts like a vampire, I loved it. I recommend this to everyone.
No.
Session 9,
I'm gonna go to lunch.
2001. Session 9 is a 2001
Right, so what you're saying to me is it wasn't Amy on the phone. Is that what you might think? Speak to Amy.
Directed by Brad
Don't give him the
Anderson
fucking cell phone.
and written by Anderson and Stephen Jevendon. Don't watch alone, but watch it in the dark. I work at a video store, and when customers ask me what's a good horror movie that I will actually get to them, I don't suggest any of the Freddy or Jason movies. Those are for fans, and I don't consider them to be genuinely frightening. Session 9 is most definitely genuinely frightening.
I don't hear anything.
It takes place at a mental hospital that is legend where I live. So most people know what I'm talking about when I say Denver State Mental Hospital. It is one of the few psychologically effective movies that I have ever seen. It takes the audience on a ride through a building that seems alive to its visitors and forces the audience to resolve for themselves why things are happening to each characters.
It was real.
If you want a movie that is challenging and thought-provoking, this is the one. I always tell my customers to watch this movie in the dark, but not to watch it alone. Just be aware that if there is a distraction during the movie, you will have many questions about it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do every time I watch it. Everything about this movie impressed me. The script was lean and inventive, the direction stylish without being overblown, the acting top-notch. Even the shot-on-video's cinematography looked great, with the exception of one or two exterior shots that had a hint of video look to it. Most everything else was filmic and artistic. I also appreciate any horror movie that can generate real tensions and suspense from imagination and suggestion rather than relying on lame and lazy tricks that populate most horror movies. If something as limp as urban legends can be called a horror movie. First-rate film, and I recommend to anyone who appreciates a thinking man's horror film. Creepiest horror film in years.
Where are you?
Session 9 is the creepiest horror film I've seen in years. Brad Anderson has made a movie that is subtle and features actors playing everyday people who not only act and talk like real people, which means none of the moral atrocities of going off in the dark alone, etc. But also aren't killed off one by one according to their billing in the credits. The tension builds slowly, without a cheap shot scenes in sight, until it is almost unbearable. Towards the end, the plot runs off with steam, and the twists are a bit anticlimactic. However, everything is so well crafted and executed in this picture, from the writing, cinematography, and acting, to the use of sound and digital film. That is a moot point, and anyone with an ounce of interest in the horror genre should grant this little known gem. Altered States, 1980. Altered States is a 1980 American science fiction horror film directed by Ken Russell based on the novel of the same name by playwright and screenwriter Patty Chayefsky. Great material, artistically handled. If you are a thinker now, or grew up in looking up at the stars and trying to figure out how the universe could just go on and on forever, this film is for you. If you like boundaries and the familiar, you will not understand why this film was made, or why this film was made the way it was. Chayefsky's material is brilliant and challenging. Russell's approaching is startling, more like abstract expressionism than any kind of realism. The performances, especially by Blair Browns and Willem Hurd, are raw and completely authentic. From start to finish, this film is fascinating, original and consistently realized. A forgotten treasure, best sci-fi of the last 25 years. I have serious late fees on my video accounts because I just didn't want to give this movie back. It is stunning that a film with special fitting was made in 1980, but that wasn't why I kept watching it over and over. I tend to be incredibly critical of most sci-fi movies on technical grounds, so I was stunned by the tightness of this movie.
Well,
Obviously,
I mean,
it's fiction and at some points goes off the deep end scientifically, but like the best X-Files episodes, but much better, it leaves you impressed by how well it justifies its leap of fancy. Science fiction's the way it should be. This utterly tripped out movie is what science fiction is all really about. There are no spaceships and no improbable aliens. Instead, this is a film about a journey within the mind and beyond it. It follows scientific genius William Hurt as he experiments with mind-altering drugs in sensory deprivation tanks, with disturbing consequences. The film is conceptually brilliant, though obviously I am unable to delve too deeply without spoiling the film, and Hurt's performance is fantastic. However, what makes this film really stand out is that it is visually stunning to a level that has very rarely been equaled, let alone better.
Is that true?
The directions of the trip scenes is absolutely unbelievable, terrifying and wondrous, and superbly edited. The use of sound, color, and bizarre imagery, combined with the weight of concepts, make this film a real trip to watch. Not recommended for the faint-hearted or disinterested popcorn viewers. Altered States is frighteningly
I need you to
intense,
open your eyes now.
but requires an inquisitive and open-minded viewing to fully appreciate its meaning, which are the real heart of the film. Altered States, 1980. Altered States is a 1980 American science fiction horror film directed by Kier Russells based on the novel of the same name by playwright and screenwriter Patty Chayefsky. Great material, artistically handled, and features actors playing everyday people who not only act and talk like real people, which means none of the usual horror atrocities of going off in the dark alone, etc., but also aren't killed off one by one according to their billing in the credits. The tension builds slowly, without a cheap shock scenes in sight, until it is almost unbearable. Towards the end, the plot runs off of steam, and the twists are a bit anticlimactic. However, everything is so well crafted and executed in this picture, from the writing, cinematography, and acting, to the use of sounds and digital film, that is a moot point, and anyone with an ounce of interest in the horror genre should rent this little-known gem.